What's up, y'all? It's the morning of January 27th, and I ended my bulk just 2 days ago. And so I'm going to give you some updates on what my current weight is, how much lean mass I think I gained, and then what I'm trying to cut down to for my next competition on April 6th. So let's get right into it. First of all, starting weight. Competition, November 19th, 2023, I was 165 pounds, okay? Let's review some of the things I think I could have done better, though, in terms of my preparation for that, why my weight might have been actually a little bit low. I don't think I carb loaded as hard as I could have the more I look back on it, and the more I do this bulk and realize how much my muscles have been filling up. So that's the first thing. I think I might have been down like a pound or so, just based off the muscle glycogen and water, etc. And then I also think I could have dieted a little harder. I thought I was at like 6% at my competition, but in reality I was probably more like 7.5 would be my guess. Some of my friends text me like, bro, you're probably a little higher than that, and I had to be honest with them, like, you know, I let the industry, because so many people lie about their body fat percentages. Even at the competition, I'm talking to the guys and they're like, I'm 5%, and I'm like, I was like at 6%. I was like, that's reasonable in some sense, you know, 6%, you know. But a lot of guys, and not only that, there's just not a lot of super accurate places to get this information at low cost, right? So how are you really going to do your body fat calculations? For me, I did it using the U.S. Navy method, where you measure your waist and then you measure your neck and then you take your weight and height, I think. But even that is just not, it's not perfect in any sense. It's not even close to perfect. And so, all that being said, 165 competition weight, November 19, 2023. End of the bulk, the highest I saw on the scale was 190.5, but when I went to my gym the next day it was 188, so I'm calling it 188, 190, whatever, you know, it's all just kind of in the margins of water weight and whatever. And so 165 to 188, that's 23 pounds gained of total mass. According to my calculations, just really a ballpark guess, but 5 pounds of water weight was my guess that I added on, or other junk weight that is going to come right back off. Maybe stuff stuck up in the digestive system, whatever. Water weight. So 5 pounds of that, and then I estimated that my body fat went from that 6% to 12.5%. And I'm just not, I don't feel like being technically savvy enough to post a photo there, but I post stories on Instagram, so if you want progress pictures and like more consistent updates in terms of like small snippets of information, follow me there at Ryan_Sweeney, SWEENEY 42. Because I did actually yesterday, I posted like all my posing at the end of my bulk, so that would be interesting to look at and come back to this video and tell me, hey, what do you think my body fat percentage is in those? These are just my guesses, right? So maybe I was at 7 or 8 and I went to 15, you know? But either way, 6 to 12.5, so I gained like 6 to 7% body fat during the bulk, which was about 8 weeks long. A little bit more probably than I would have liked to, but I also understood how crucial adequate body fat is for your hormone production, so I was trying to jet up pretty quick. And so the first couple weeks of that bulk, I shot up very quick. I think I was 180, I think I was over 180 within actually like a week and a half, you know, or 2 weeks. Now again, a lot of junk weight, and I even shed that off. Like I shot up to 180, went back down to 173, and I'm not recommending this to anybody. It was a result of eating Domino's one night. I just ordered Domino's one night, and it just like, I gained 10 pounds. I don't even know what the fuck happened. So a couple cheat meals here and there, but we're going to get into that more in a bit here. So let's just stay on the statistics. 23 pounds of weight gained, 5 pounds of water weight, and then if you take my calculations as I've set them out, about 12 pounds of fat gain. All right, so that leaves us 17 pounds of junk weight, and then so you take the 23 added minus the 17, that leaves us with 6 pounds of lean muscle mass gain. All right, now for an 8-week bulk for any random individual, that would probably be pretty good. And maybe I added a little bit more than that, maybe I added a little bit less than that. The range that I estimated for this bulk was anywhere from 3 to 10 pounds. I really didn't have an idea. My guess was 6. 6 feels about right to me. Maybe, like, I really wouldn't think it's under 5. I definitely think I put on a good amount of mass. My back has gotten a lot stronger for sure. My chest still seems to be lagging behind a little bit. I don't know if it's something with my training routine, my genetics, whatever, but I make an effort to train this body part a little bit extra. Maybe I'm overtraining it, maybe I'm whatever, but it's catching up a little bit. Maybe I have dysmorphia over how my chest looks, right? These are all interesting psychological things to think about. But anyways, 6 pounds of lean muscle mass gained. So people can take that number, and obviously we're in the bodybuilding world. Everybody's thinking about steroids. Everybody's thinking about, are you natural, are you not? Like that's the hottest thing. That's what everybody. I watch the videos, and I make a point to heavily educate myself on these things because I'm in the industry. Let's face it. Even though I am a natural bodybuilder, and I don't plan on ever taking any unnatural steroids, and I'm going to get more into that later, talking about the natural compounds that I've added that I believe have had a large effect. I haven't gotten blood work done to prove any of that, but those compounds being natural and also healthier, but also having great effects similar to, or even superior to those a lot of steroids, or what would they be called, or SARMs, or whatever. So 6 pounds in a month. I know I keep repeating this, but I keep going off on these tangents. I think they're important. So leave any questions you have in the comments below. But normally, you know, when you start working out, the general consensus that they give you is you can expect to add on 10 pounds in your first year, maybe more if you have high genetic potential. And then you have the newbie gains, of course. So people might be looking at me and saying, you started working out in July of last year. Seriously, I mean, you were fit before, right? But shouldn't you have accrued your newbie gains within those 6 months? And therefore, doesn't it kind of not make sense that you would have added 6 pounds of muscle, potentially even more, during this bulking period? That seems like a fair amount of muscle to add. As somebody who is, like, yes, a beginner, yes, still in their first year in the gym technically, but somebody that's been working out hard and has competed, you know, after 6 months. So let me address those people that are a little bit inquisitive about how much muscle I may have added on and thinking about this whole natural and not stuff, because I think about it constantly, right? Really, this was my first bulk, right? When I started working out last July, I was cutting the whole time, right? I went from 183 to 165. It was just a recomp. But even with the recomp, I did the math out, and I didn't gain any muscle mass, really. Obviously, there's some margin for error. Maybe I added 1 or 2 pounds, or 3 or 4, maybe. But if I go by what I believe are reasonably accurate assessments, I started at 183 at 12 to 15% body fat. I think closer to 15, and then I ended at 165 at 6 to 7% body fat. So if you do the math out, that's 155 pounds of lean muscle mass either way, pretty much. So what I'm saying here is, basically this bulk was, I believe, where I experienced some of my newbie gains, right? Because I was already kind of fit, kind of in shape, but I didn't have big muscles, right? 165, 5'11 and a half, not a big guy, right? There's guys at that competition that were inches shorter than me at the same weight, you know? And when I looked at the other guys that beat me, I felt like just a little bit more mass would have been would have made me win that because I believe I have superior symmetry and superior posing. At least, maybe not to the winner of the last show, but I think I was second best in posing at that show. I felt really good about that. But I also just need to get a little leaner as well. So that's another goal for this upcoming competition. So, what was the process like? What did my bulk actually look like? I can't believe it's taken this long to get to this point in the video, but I just have all this stuff to talk about, so we gotta talk. I mean, I haven't seen y'all in a little bit, you know? We gotta get a little face to face. So, I started the bulk and it was a little bit dirty. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It was a little bit dirty, all right? I had that Domino's one night, and then it was the holiday season, right? So I had kind of planned this out because November 19th was right before Thanksgiving, all right? And so I knew I was going to cheat that week. I basically gave myself that 1 week to cheat, all right? I cheated that week, and I wasn't happy. I was like, I hit that 180 or whatever, and I was like, I shouldn't be bulking this hard. This is dirty. This is not right. So I recorrected things, all right? I got myself in a solid caloric deficit of hopefully 500 to 600, 3,100 calories was my aim. I think, honestly, I was probably closer to 3,500 to 4,000 even during this bulk. I didn't count my calories as judiciously as I should have. And then there were also a couple small life events that impacted me. One of my wisdom teeth started coming in, and I was just in super amount of pain for a week. Thankfully, it's not impacted. It was growing pains, and it's going to come in fine. So I did miss 1 week of working out in total during that period, but I was consistent over the holidays. I was consistent, you know, other than that, and my workouts were good. I was training on I would do shoulders. Generally, I would follow that with or let's just say I start on chest, shoulders, back, and then legs, 6 days on, 1 day off a week, chest, shoulders, back, and then weaving the legs in. What even was my split? Now that I'm looking at it, I'm forgetting what my plan was, but basically legs once a week, everything else twice a week, add in the core when I can. That was pretty much what it was. 2 hours a day, hour and a half maybe on average if you cut out the times I checked out. Well, I was doing cardio too though. I was like 20 minutes of cardio, trying to stay a little consistent with the cardio, not too worried about it, but just for general health purposes, trying to keep that up. So yeah, the training was not much really changed in the training from my from pre-competition and now. I definitely started putting on a little bit more weight because I was just stronger because I wasn't depleted from the competition anymore. But I didn't go for any 1 rep maxes. The only news I can give you is I was repping out for 10, like 165 on the bench. Who gives a fuck, you know? If I had to guess, I could probably hit 225 for 1 rep, but my strength is not something to call home about. That's for sure. Anyways, let's talk now about the supplements. I mean, the diet. Look, the diet was the same. I didn't cut out the caffeine like I said I might. I'm still on the raw dairy, raw honey, you know, grass-fed ground beef. I'll eat a steak. I'll eat a little pork here and there. I'll eat a little chicken here and there. I'll cheat with a couple of veggies, and that's about it. You know, we're back on the grind here. So, the supplements I added in to help me in this bulking cycle were Tongat Ali, fadogia agrestis, or the Tongat at 400 milligrams, fadogia at 600 milligrams, and colostrum at 3,000 milligrams. Grass-fed, grass-finished, humanely raised, pasture-raised from New Zealand, the whole shebang. You know what's up. You know, everything organic, everything as raw, unprocessed as possible. I don't even fucking wash my hands anymore when I cook meat. No, let's not talk about that. I still wash them with chicken for sure. But, yeah, I'm not a fan of the dishwashing soap. Fuck, microplastics. I think those supplements really helped me out. I really think the colostrum. I don't know, the colostrum. I'm starting to. My intuition is telling me that 3,000 milligrams or 3 grams is not really quite enough. I think maybe 6 grams would really be a much better dose for me. I don't know. It's one of those things where you can't really feel the effect of the colostrum. I would say it's just kind of a background process that is theoretically helping, you know, your growth factors and everything. Excuse me. But the fadogia, agrestis, and the Tongat Ali, I mean, these are real game changers, people. And I wish I had blood work done. Thankfully, I do have a sample of a saliva sample from before my competition, before I did any of this stuff. It's just in the freezer, and I just haven't sent it in because they didn't. I bought it on eBay, and then they didn't validate it. Whatever. But I have the sample, just so you know. If at some point in the future somebody wants to look at my shit, they can be like, all right, before the competition, before he took any of the supplements, yeah, he was cutting, so maybe my testosterone was a little messed up, you know. But I felt those like almost instantly. Like maybe this will be different for other people, but that day I like felt a little bit, and then the next day it was off to the races. You know, libido wise, just a little bit of strength wise, just my mood definitely improved a little bit. You just felt a little bigger, to be honest with you, and that accrued and stayed pretty steady, and it's currently steady. So I've been taking those for 8 weeks, and I took 1 week off during that break week, and I do plan to cycle off of those as a preventative measure, just because there are some studies in the Tongat Ali, in the fadogia agrestis, that there is a level of toxicity. Granted, I'm taking that lower end dose. When they test these things, they're usually giving 18 milligrams per kilogram as the lowest end for the rats. So if you translate that out, that's actually a higher dose, I think, or very close dosage to what I'm taking. And that's the low end, and they didn't see any negative effects in the time period that I have been taking it. When you translate what like they give them it for a month, and then after this period of time they develop toxicity, but that would be 3 years of taking this stuff straight to get to the toxicity point at that dosage. So I'm not worried about that. I'm going to cycle off for I think two weeks after, and then get right back on some sort of bulk, I think, depending on how I do at the show. If I get my pro card, you know, I'll just stay in the pocket, right, and move on and go straight to the European Cup. That's the goal. But you know, that's a little whiles away. We don't need to worry about that right now. Although maybe at the end of this video, I'll get into some of my goals for the new year, what 2024 has in store for me as a bodybuilder, etc. So yeah. I want to send a message out there how powerful I think these natural supplements are, because it was a game changer for me. I don't even take pre-workout, all right? I think I should add in a pre-workout with some of the L-citrulline and whatever else, because I think that would probably even pump me up even more for the gym and aid my recovery even more, because like what's amazing to me is this bulk didn't go really as well as I would have hoped. Just things happen in life, and you know, you got to deal with them, and sometimes you can't, specifically for me, eat quite as well as you would have liked to, you know, for like a week or two here. You know, it's not anything systemic, but just wasn't totally satisfied with it. But with all this, with all the aids that I have around me, I still feel so great about what I was able to put on in 8 weeks. And let's just talk a little bit quick. I've been researching the fadogia agrestis more and more because I just want to understand what it's actually doing, right? Because when you take normal steroids like a testosterone, that's fairly far down the stream in terms of production, you know? All these things have to happen in order for your testes to be signaled to produce the testosterone. And so the more I look at the fadogia, it appears as if this is just what I've seen other scientists say, like a Huberman and other papers out there. Actually, there's a lot of research, happening currently, as far as I know, on these substances, especially the fadogia, because it's just not researched very much. But Huberman said that it seems that it's acting directly on the pituitary gland to stimulate LH, which is just crazy to me. To me, it's like if you could create the perfect steroid, you would want it to act as into the line as possible. I don't know what the opposite of far down the line. Way up the line. You want to go as up the line as possible, at least as far as I know. You would want to basically have it be completely natural. Have the body thinking everything is going completely naturally, And by directly stimulating the pituitary, pineal, I forget which one I said now. I think it's the pituitary. To release the LH, there's no downstream. Everything makes sense to the body, at least from what I've seen. It's like, oh, there's just the pituitary is more active, right? Rather than we have this random substance, well, not random, but we have this substance coming in that we didn't produce, and so we have to shut down production of LH, or shut down production of whatever. I'm not versed enough to spew off all this BS like other people do. And I hope to be skilled enough to do that someday. But, that being said, we have a natural compound here that is likely, in my opinion, directly stimulating the pituitary gland to release the LH. I just think that's so cool. And the fact that the studies show very little toxicity when managed correctly in the correct dosages, and always consult with your doctor. And I just can't believe more people aren't excited to, just drop the steroids, man. The natural stuff is, to me, the wave of the future. I mean, people are always going to want to get super, super big and super jacked and use the steroids, but for me, at least my goal is to not be Mr. Olympia or any high-level bodybuilding champion in terms of size and mass. I want to be the example of symmetry, of human beauty and handsomeness, right? That's what I'm looking for, and I don't believe that is just tied into mass. But I think I was a little too scrawny to accurately represent the masculinity necessary to push out that image that I would like to push out. So, and obviously that comes with a lot of mental work, spiritual work, emotional work as well, so that people unconsciously perceive you in that more dominant and more attractive way. It's not just about attraction to the opposite sex. It's, are you attractive to the world itself? Are you attracted to the consciousness, the universe? Are animals comfortable around you? Are women, are men, does the light flicker? No. So I think that's it, y'all. Let's just do a real quick sum up in terms of my goals for 2024. So I have this competition. I need to cut. Oh yeah, I didn't even share that. So I'm 188. My goal is to add on another 1 or 2 pounds of muscle, get down to 175. That'll put me at, or my goal is to actually hit that 5%, 6% body fat, lean down a little bit more, maintain all that muscle. My plan to do all that is to do all the anti-catabolic stuff that I can do, up my cardio quite a bit. Anti-catabolic wise, the raw honey, focusing on the nitric oxide production, taking the supplements to keep the testosterone levels up, which will be anti-catabolic or anabolic. I don't know what the technical, I think it's anti-catabolic would be the wording there. Yeah, just getting in the good deficit. I'm gonna have to be in like a 600 calorie deficit, I think, for the next 2 months, because that's about the surplus I was in. Maybe it's like 500 or 400, but yeah. So I'm planning on going like 2,000 calories ish, and that's that. So now we get to the goals. All right, finally. April 6, 2024, Greenwich, Connecticut. I'm going to be competing down there. It is a pro card opportunity. I'm going to be competing in the men's physique, novice, and open divisions if they have them. I believe they do. And it should be a pretty large show. It's called the Tri-State whatever meetup, I guess. And there's going to be a lot of guys from New York, probably a lot of guys from Boston, probably some guys from Pennsylvania too. Whatever, this whole New England area. Very accessible meet, so I'm hoping to be a big turnout. And obviously my goal is to win that show in the men's physique division. I believe that with the size I added on and the extra leanness that I'm going to have and the better posing I'm going to have and the more full muscles that I'm going to have, and what else do I need to really correct? Nah, I don't think there's much. Oh, and I'm going to have a glossy ass body, so you're going to actually see my muscles, which might have been why I lost the last show. I don't know. But the more I look back at it, the more I'm happy that I placed well, but I didn't win that because it gave me this time to grow. It gave me this time to really learn more, and I feel so much more prepared for this next time around. Can't wait to get to it. About to head to the gym now. Hope you are too. God bless. I'll catch you soon. Peace.